Nation. Cowboy Nation, we in the building. We in the Cowboy Nation, Cowboy Nation. I don't know how that turned out. That might have been messed up. I don't know. I'm just fiddling with some buttons here, man. I don't even know what I'm doing here, but I'm just trying to get some stuff together, man. Trying to uh, um, put some things together, man. Miss Charles, how you doing, Miss Charles? How you doing out there, man? I'm glad you came in, man. I really appreciate. I know how you follow the Cowboy Nation all around, and man, and I feel honored, uh, Miss Charles, to have you a part of my live stream, and I feel honored because we know how much you are a big time Cowboy fan and how you support all of us so very well, and boy, we just want to make sure and tell you from my heart and a lot of our content creators, we sit down and talk about how much you follow us, man, and your support, and we really appreciate you. And Cowboy Nation, I'm trying to get a little bit better at this thing. Hopefully I'm gonna start getting a little bit better at this thing. But every time I have something to come across my mind, and I'm thinking about, I try to get on live and try to get it off my mind, off my chest. If you look at the part of this live stream today, uh, the part of this live stream today is about Cowboys run defense. Um, there's a lot of myths going on about the Cowboys run defense. Um, not to mention for the last probably I want to say the last 4 to 5 years. 6 years ago, it was historically bad. And we talking about right before Dan Quinn got here. One of the worst defenses, even from the run aspect to the pass aspect. This a total failure. Um, Mike McCarthy's first year here with the defense coordinator. Um, Moving on from that, when Dan Quinn got here, um, the run defense, got a little bit better in his first year here. And we got to remember, we had a big draft of that year when Dan Quinn's first year he got here. If we remember back, that's the year we got Osa. We drafted, I think we drafted six guys. I think we only drafted two offensive guys, but I think we really went in real deep. Now some of those guys are not still here no more. Um, but we really went deep into our draft, and we got a lot of different free agents in that first year Dan Quinn was here. Also, we brought in Curse, and we brought in a lot of guys that they built that defense. When Dan Quinn got here, they gave him a lot of leeway to get some, so we can try to improve the defense because the defense was historically bad, one of the worst defenses in the history of the NFL. Um, and they improved greatly in that first year. I think they was in the I think they ranked in end of the year ranked 12th. And Dan Quinn's defense was based off of playing a lot of players. His defense was never built to be a smash mouth defense. Um, I remember him when he first got here. One of the things that he had mentioned when he first got here, when he had talked to his head coach, and I want to make sure we understand that the head coach, even though if he's not a defensive guy, when you hire a defensive coordinator, even though if you're a head coach and you uh, are strongly an offensive guy and you the head coach and you hire a defensive coordinator, that defense coordinator still knows what you want. The defensive coordinator still is the person that gives you what tells the defense, the head coach is what the person that tells the defense coordinator of what type of defense he wants. Now, he may not tell that defense coordinator that, okay, I want you to run this type of defense or make the calls, but he'll tell that defense coordinator the type of style that he wants generally. And usually that's why how when you hire a guy, you find out, do you fit what his philosophy is? And you're gonna fall up underneath that. Dan Quinn, I think sometimes again, like I always say, Coach Marv always listen. I listen to interviews. I listen to everything a coach says, and I pick up on what players say, because listening is very key when you're in this avenue of what we are in the YouTube nation, and we listen to comments and interviews. It is also important as when I was coaching as well. You got to be able to listen to what people say, because usually there's going to be some things they're going to tell you that's going to be ultimately the truth, that you could be able to figure them out about where they're going and where they're coming from. Well, Dan Quinn talked about how he evolved his defense from where it was in Seattle and with Atlanta. And he also talked about Mike McCarthy wanted to be more of a hybrid type of a defense. And if you look at when Mike McCarthy made his first hire as a defensive coordinator, they wanted to run into that 4-3 and that hybrid type of defense, because they wanted to be more adjusting to be able to take care of the passing defense. They have great passing defense. And when you do that, when you go into a hybrid type thing, you may go a little small on your defense because you're looking to try to stop the passing game and affect the passer, but you may give up a lot. You may give up a lot of desire in the running game. And what Dan Quinn wanted to do, he always talked about this. He talked about this on many occasions about he wanted to make sure we tackled well, because he understood we're not going to be we're going to be no massive run stopping team, but he wanted to make sure that we tackle well. So virtually at the beginning, we played better against the defense. That first playoff game against San Francisco, we played in Dallas. We played a very stout game. Now, did we play a massive knockdown, just shut you down defense on a run game? No, but we played very stout. And then as time went on, we kind of got a little bit less in the defense. And I think the last year, I think we got this. People was talking about the size of our linebackers, but I think what's important, and when I talk about the Cowboys run defense, when I look at the last 5 years of our run defense, I don't see a defense that week in and week out, people just run the ball right down our middle of our center of our defense. I ask y'all, um, I ask y'all this question. Do you ever did when we watch the Cowboys all year long, did we have seen people just run the ball right up the center of our defense? Or have we been getting gouged on our perimeter and off tackle? And if you're really honest with yourself, that's how we've been getting um you've been getting hurt. And I like hear a lot of people talking about, well, we need to get defensive tackle. We need to get that big boy in the middle. We get defensive tackles, and our defensive tackle get well. I think sometimes we look at a guy and we see a guy get beat on the block. All defensive tackles gonna get beat on blocks sometimes. But defense stopping the run, any coach will tell you that stopping the run is a collective of 11 guys being committed to say you're not going to run the football on us on a consistent basis. And if you're not committed as a team, if it's a second thought to your defense, you're going to get hurt by it. Now, defense run games, and I'll just give you little things because when this new season come up, I'm gonna give you some little pointers, and I want y'all to look at them, and then you'll know and people who don't know about say the inner workings of a defense of what a defensive coordinator thinks about a run game, about a team running on them. Think about this. I want you to watch a game, and if you see the other team run the ball 35 times, and they run for 80 yards, they say they run for 180 yards. Well, let's say 200 yards, and they ran the ball 38 times. A lot of you will say, man, that's over 5 yards a carry. They're killing us. And the pundits and the ESPNs will get out there and say, man, we can't stop the run. The Cowboys have a problem with them stopping the run. And me as a coach would probably say the same thing. But when I look at the context, I see run for 56 yards. I see two other runs one for 30 yards and one for 25 yards. Then I say, okay, 3 explosive runs. And we have heard, I know you've heard Coach Marv saying in live stream, explosive plays has been our Achilles heel to our defense more than the run game and anything else, explosive plays. 3 run plays are over 100 yards. The other 35 was less than 100 yards. Your run defense looked bad, but you gave up explosive plays. So when a coach looks at his run defense, one, he looks at explosive plays. He takes out all the explosive plays. Usually when you're a coach, you say, okay, we're going to take out the 2 longest runs out the equation, and then we're going to take the rest of the run attempts and see what the average yards per carry. We go into a game as a coach, you say you don't want to give up any runs over 15 yards. And you want to limit how many runs you have of 15 yards to maybe 1. If you got more than 3 rushes for more than 15 yards or any rush over 30 yards, yes, your run per average is going to look bad. You're going to look bad because you gave up explosive plays. So if you look at our Cowboy team, we gave up a lot of explosive plays. 2 years ago, we gave up more rushing yards by quarterbacks than anybody else in the NFL and in the rounds because we didn't play the perimeter well. And I think that was a product of Dan Quinn's defense because if you look at the Washington team this year, they didn't play the run real well either. And they had Payne and they had some monsters at defensive tackle. They didn't play the run well either. So, and they had great linebackers. And they were not a good run stopping team. And they had personnel. I just believe it's a product of how Dan Quinn do. Now, I'm not talking about Dan Quinn or denigrating Dan Quinn because Dan Quinn has a good defensive philosophy. But his philosophy is to get you into a passing game and to hunt you down with the passing game. But his defense is not just equipped in some areas to be great run stoppers. And that proves because Washington had better defensive linemen. They had 2 monster defensive tackle. They had much better linebackers than we had the previous year. But their defense, Washington defense, was okay, but they were not really good in the running game. And this is not a moratorium on Dan Quinn. It's just displaying to sometimes the myth of our team when we talk about we can't do certain things, and when we look at a game, it's we're saying what the general knowledge is say. Most times when somebody says you're not good to run, the first thing the general football person looks at and says, "Okay, we need a big guy defensive tackle." If I give me a big guy defensive tackle, we'll be able to stop the run game. But that's not always the case. I have to hate to bring up this team because I hate this team, but Philadelphia at the end of the year, last year, they couldn't stop a nosebleed. They couldn't stop not this past year, but the year before. They couldn't stop nobody from running the ball. Had the same defensive line, and then they had Cox was playing, and they had the big guy from Georgia was playing. And they couldn't stop nobody from running the ball. They bring in the new defense coordinator. Cox gets retired. The big guy from Georgia, they don't even play him as much. They get smaller at defensive line, better at linebacker, and they're the number one defense in the league. And people can't run the ball against them like that. What did change? Did personnel change? Or did their philosophy change and their defense change for them to be more effective in stopping the run? See, we could talk about it, and we think we bring a big guy here and a big 6'4", 330-pound guy, we say, okay, we'll be able to stop the run. If it's not a mentality type thing, and y'all gonna hear Coach Moss say that all the time. And I think I'm gonna say that to you until our fans start to believe in what I'm saying. It's a mindset. Even in your life, if you got the mindset of I'm going to make this work, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to fail. I'm going to make something type of work. But if you go into something and say, well, it can work, well, I think I need to do that. That's something I need to do. But you don't have a mindset of it's going to work. Most times you're going to fail. Or as soon as adversity hit, you're going to give up. A lot of people talk about stopping the run. I hear our fans talk about it. I hear our players talk about it. I hear our ownership say, oh, we got to stop the run. But we think we just going to throw it out there and stop it. No, we got to have a mindset to stop the run. Another case in point. Most teams that are pass happy, that put most of their emphasis on throwing the ball and practice as such, usually have weak run defenses. You say, Coach Mar, wait a minute, hold up. What the offense got to do with the defense being able to stop the run? Just think about it. I watched training camp for the last 5 years. We very rarely, in McCarthy's era, did run game drills. 90% of the time we was passing the ball. If you don't practice against a physical nature of people running the ball or trying to stop the edges, setting the edges, being stout in run fits, and you don't practice at it coming at you full speed, you cannot talk about it and then turn around in the games and say, oh, we're going to be good at it. We've been good at pass defense because that's what we go against every day. But we hadn't been that great at pass defense. But we have not been good at running game because we have not been committed to work on it. So that's one of the things when we talk about personnel. I don't believe it's personnel. Um, I was just on Big Time show, this on Big Time show, and I hope he comes over to this show, and so I see some of the people that was on this show. Hopefully y'all are listening in. And he said, and I'm not going against him, but I just want to say, I put in the chat and said I'm okay with the defensive line where it is, what we done did with our defensive line. And I hear people talk about film says Osa don't play the run. When Osa played when Osa at the final stretch of this year, when Osa was playing, when the Cowboys did a stress test, and if you go back on the live shows, Boss Cowboys Sports live show, or you can go onto my channel. Go on my channel at Coach Marv Real Talk, my YouTube channel. Go to my playlist. I got all the watch parties last year in my playlist, and you can click on that if you need to know something about Coach Marv. You go back to Boss Cowboys, boy. And we've been doing this for 4 years. But the last year, I put some of the watch parties that we had for all the games, and you can hear a lot of the stuff, the commentary in those watch parties that I was giving during the game. And last year, at the end of the season, I said that the Cowboys were playing. Osa was playing for his first 2 years. I think he playing between 56 and 55, between 57% and 55% of the snaps at defensive tackle. You're not going to have big numbers if you're only paying 57%. You're not going to have 10 sacks, Pro Bowl numbers, only playing 57% of the snaps in defense. But in those 57 snaps, he's still getting 10, 11 tackles for loss, 4 or 5 sacks, and I don't know how many pressures. I said that he should be playing even more, but that was under Dan Quinn, it was more of a rotation system. And then when Zimmer came in, he kind of rotated them too. But at the last 7 games of the season, with the Cowboys knowing that they had to sign Osa next year, they did what I call, and I was saying that during the live stream, they did a stress test. They stress test Osa. What you have to do is say, okay, we think about signing this guy to a long-term deal. He's been here for 4 years, and we only been playing him 57% of the snaps, and he's been doing well to 57%. But what we're going to do at this we're going to stress test him. If you look at Osa's, I think the last 5 to 7, I think the last 7 games or 6 games of the season, he was playing 80, 82, 83, 84, 85% of the snaps in the games. Defensive snaps. What they did was say, hey, we're going to stress test you because $15, $20 million defensive tackles have to play 80%, 85%. Now, I ain't saying they got to be in there every play, but they're going to be in there 85%. And they got to be able to go, and they got to be able to stay consistent. And look at his numbers in the last part of the season. They went up run game and passing game. I think sometimes we look at a player and teams run against us and we say, well, this guy ain't playing well. Well, listen, go back to what I just said. Run defense is a collective of all 11 guys committed to stopping it. And when a team runs against you, you have to look at it individually to see what person was not a part of the collective. And how many times, and I go back again about listening. And when I point these things out, Cowboy fans, y'all already heard it. Y'all heard it from the interviews, y'all heard it from the players, you heard it from the coaches. Sometimes when you listen to these big networks, they're not going to go into that because they're looking on general surface. But the coaches told you how many years, how many times in the past years you've heard it said our defense said after we got a kill and maybe team ran the ball up, we not in our place, we not in our fits. We're being unselfish. We're being selfish. People not doing their job. They're trying to do somebody else's job. That means collectively, two things collectively was going on. One, the collective effort was not stressed by everybody in the defensive unit. Some people say, oh, hey, man, let those guys stop the run. I just want to get to the pass rush. And I'm not speaking on nobody now. Somebody going to say, oh, you talking about Michael Parsons. No, that's everybody. Some people said, I'm going to start doing stunts because I'm going to call my own stunts because I think it might be a pass play. So I'm going to do a stunt. And I found out when you have a lineman that does a stunt and they run the ball, you put you vulnerable to being in a problem. Sometimes you had defensive linemen doing stunts and linebackers doing stunts. And if one person does it, if a defensive lineman does a stunt and the linebacker is not on the same page with him, it puts the linebacker in harm's way. If it's not collectively together with one purpose, it's going to be hard to stop the run. If you got 4 people on your team that's the best run defensive players in the whole entire NFL, give me the best defensive tackles in the NFL. And I got 9 other guys out there not collectively focused on stopping the run, teams will still run on us. That's why I love football so much, because football is never one guy. One guy is never the whole problem. And I don't think, because I've heard too many years about every time we have that same process, I have too many years I hear that about fits. Film shows me, instead of people getting blowed off the ball, film shows me this sometimes we just ain't had enough effort. Then is that effort because these players are not capable? Or is that effort that said, I'm not collectively all in about stopping the run. I'm collectively all in about getting after the passer. That's a mindset change. I have seen defenses that had no. I think a boss put a post out there. Boss Cowboy put a post out there. Somebody posted on him. They was talking about uh, Leon. Wish we had a Leon Lett and a Russell Maryland. And talking about how we would be stopping the defense, we would stop the run with Russell Maryland and Leon Lett. If anybody remember, I think I said something on Law Station. We were talking about the day, and I told him, and I said, um, and I mean this cold-heartedly, and I'm gonna continue to say this. I'm gonna start making some shirts on this. Defense is a weapon, and defense, Cowboy Nation. I'm here to tell you here on May the 12th, 2025, before training camp starts, before the season starts, in the history of the NFC East, the team that had the best defense in the league in the division has won the division. And this is probably going to be the best division in football. This division is historically the best football division in NFL history. No teams have more Super Bowls. No division has more Super Bowls than the NFC East. Two of our teams played in the championship, NFC championship last year. And I think Dallas is this year, I think our team is suited to be probably the most dominant. No team has won back-to-back division titles in our league, in our division, in what, 15 years or something like that? 10, 11, 15 years, something like that. We're going to be the best. Even when we was at our worst, there was no repeat. Even though when our division was at our worst, a couple years they're talking about the NFC least, which we didn't stay down there for long, did we? We still had one of the better teams in the league. And historically, the team that has the best defense in this division usually wins this division. The heyday with the Washington Redskins at that time, I hate to say that, I hope that don't mess up the Washington team. They had monster defenses. Everybody want to talk about their run game, but they had monster defenses. And this division usually has the best running attack to get to a Super Bowl. The Emmitt Smith, to what Philadelphia did last year, what the Redskins did in their heyday. That's the DNA to win the NFC East. Now, if you want to try to do it another way, history has told you year in and year out in 2025 or back in 1970, the same way it's been run this division. So if the best defense in this division wins it, and this division is probably when a person wins this division, or it's probably the Super Bowl contender is going to come out of this division. I don't care what Dak Prescott do or what CeeDee Lamb or Pickens do. If our defense, we're going to go as far as our defense take us. Jimmy Johnson told his team that they was going to go as far as the defense took them. And they had Super Bowl with none of the defensive players made the Pro Bowl, and they had the number one defense. And they announced the defense in their first Super Bowl. Jimmy announced the defense because he told them the defense was going to be what won the championship. They had the triplets on that team. The defense got 9 turnovers or 7 turnovers in the game and scored almost as many touchdowns as offense. Their last Super Bowl, Larry Brown, his 2 interceptions helped them win that Super Bowl. Offense was horrible then. Troy Aikman had a horrible game the first in Super Bowl II when they won 30-13. He threw an interception. And they went back to running the ball in the second half, and the defense got 2 major turnovers, and they won 30-13. And those 2 turnovers got them inside the scoring position. They won 3 Super Bowls under them, not the triplets. They did their thing, but defense is what got them there. The great Roger Staubach. Y'all, if some of y'all fans would go back to that, and he was talking about how great Roger Staubach and Dorsett was. They won both of their Super Bowls that Staubach won. One, they won 13. I think there was a low scoring game. They beat Baltimore they shut down the potent offense of Baltimore with Lilly and them to win. And then When they played the Denver Broncos, the Cowboys had the 2 Super Bowls where the defense got the most turnovers. Against the Broncos, they got 6 turnovers against the Broncos. So defense is always our calling card to winning. An efficient offense. So we could talk about all the running backs. We could talk about all that stuff. It's going to go as high far as this defense take us. In Dak Prescott's history, how many games he can say the defense won for him in the playoffs? Jalen Hurts done played in a lot of playoff games. There's been some playoff games in the last 2 times he was in the playoffs that he's thrown for under 150 yards and they won the game. And if you think about this past Super Bowl, defense dominated. Patrick Mahomes got to the Super Bowl the year before last when they won back-to-back and they beat the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Don't you know that during that year, Kansas City went 5 games without scoring a point in the second half of the games? Don't you know that they went to the AFC Championship on the road against Baltimore? And don't you know that they didn't score a point. They scored 17 points in the first half, and one of those was off an interception. And then when they got where they got good field position, one of the touchdowns, they didn't score a point in the whole second half of that game, and they got to the Super Bowl. Who won that Super Bowl for them? Who got them there? Defense is a weapon. It's just not sexy in what people want to talk about. People only talk about defense when they don't have none and the defense let them down, then they get all upset and talking about, man, if we could have stopped, we got to. No, this is gonna get us to the Super Bowl if we and I'm liking our defense. I just hope we know we got that collective to stop the run. And I think the most important part about us stopping the run is not about our defense. I think Solomon Thompson they got coming in here from New York, man, and this defensive line coach. If you watch Solomon Thompson, even though he was a first round draft pick out of San Francisco, one thing he could do, and he got even better stopping the run. If you look at his play in New York in the Jets last year, he's solid in stopping the run. You don't have to be big to be solid in stopping the run. I ain't say you got to be no small linebacker type guy. I remember the guy going back to what the guy said about Leon Lett and Russell Maryland. Russell Maryland was a first round pick. You know, Russell Maryland was an All American at Miami, first pick in the draft by the Cowboys, number 1. Russell Maryland never was. I don't think Russell Maryland ever made a Pro Bowl, but he was good at his role and in the rotation. Leon Lett, nobody knew where he came from. Scout got him for playing basketball. Came in here, got coached up, and was dominant. But no people forget about in that rotation. And they got him from Atlanta. Played at Oklahoma. Wasn't big at all. About 280, 290 pounds, 280 pounds. But Tony Casillas was a run stopper. Yes. One of the best run stopping defensive tackles in the NFL. Tony Casillas. because he just knew how to play it. And that was the rotation. And another guy in there, that was the rotation. And collectively, with speed at linebacker, they stopped the run and they honed in on the pass. But collectively, they were committed to stopping the run. And they practiced hard against the run every day in practice. So you just couldn't just run them over. They built their mentality. So that's why I want to see I want to see our offense work on that during this training camp. I want to see them work on stopping the run. The passing game is going to be all right. But it's the only way you're going to get that way is you got to work on stopping the run. The only way you're going to get good at running the ball is work on it. But while they're working on it, that's going to help the other offense, help our offense as well. So no, I don't think that I'm not. If we don't get a defensive tackle right now, I want to see what Rodgers and these guys that they got here, these young guys, because I'm gonna say this. You got a collective about the guys, and I understand what fans is, and I'm not getting on the fans at all. I understand that we want to get somebody, and we want to get this, and I hate to say names, but that's what we're looking for, names. But we have to trust our coaches that say, hey, man, they're going to put the product together and get it done. And we got to look at the example of other teams that just got it there. They didn't go out and get no names. They built names that y'all now they're getting paid. And I think we got a good collection of players. These young guys coming in, the Cowboys drafted 2 defensive tackles. And I'm not saying these guys can't play. And I think we're really tripping about Mazi Smith. Mazi is getting better. Let me say something about Mazi Smith, because I know people want to just jump off the boat with him and go somewhere else. What I have learned about players develop a certain way. If you look at Mazi and Jalen Tolbert, because everybody just guarded at him, but you're going to have to come back to Jalen. Jalen Tolbert's going to be a big part of this team winning. But anyway, everybody gets off these boats. But I watch both of them. Think about it. The way they develop in college is probably going to be the way that they're going to develop, how they're going to mature in pros. Mazi came to Michigan and flamed out his first year. His second year, he got better. And by his third or fourth year, he was getting drafted in the first round. Check it out. Jalen Tolbert came into college and had a horrible freshman year. Got better the second year. By the third and fourth year, he's getting drafted in the NFL. And look at them now. Mazi first year, he got much better his second year. This year, he's coming off of off season this year with no surgeries, all the time to train on his own body. Didn't have to go into shoulder surgery. When they told me he had to win the shoulder surgery last year, yes, he's going to start off slow. Any defensive lineman to go into shoulder surgery, they're not going to start off right off elite. It's going to take them a while to build that strength back because of how much they use their shoulders and their upper body. But he got through, and as the year got along, he got better. But now he could dedicate nothing. He ain't got to worry about no rehab. He could dedicate to getting himself in strength back, in shape, coming off what he did at the end of last year. You ain't got to get nobody here for him. And you give him a better defensive line coach. And you give him a veteran like Solomon Thompson. They talk rave about a very good, hard-working guy. You get him here. These other two guys, only thing you want them to do is spot duty. We act like we need to bring a guy in here to play 50, 70 snaps. The rotation of those guys, those other guys, is to give me 10 plays. If my defense is out there 65 plays, if those other guys give me 10 plays, 25 plays, that's all we got. Because sometimes I ain't gonna need them because we're gonna be beating teams. We're gonna be turning against going against the pass. We're gonna have going to the pass, and we're gonna have our NASCAR group in there. But what I'm trying to tell you is, it's about the mentality that our coaching staff have to do to teach these players to say, we are committed, not just to run the ball, we're committed for nobody to run against us. And that's got to be from the safety all the way to the defensive line. Yes, safeties is a part of the running game too. That's why I keep trying to tell you I'm not happy with our safety position. Because my safeties can't come up there and get in holes and fill things and clean up stuff to make it make a something that might look like a 10-yard gain, and they see it and come up and shut it down to 4 to 5 yards or 3 to 4 yards. If I got safeties that make the offensive coordinator say, okay, I got to block this guy because his run support is going to blow it all up. You know, when teams as a coach and you think the safeties are weak and you design run plays, you design run plays to say combo off here and you should be able to pick up the safety because he's going to still be in the same position, just getting this way. But when you got aggressive safeties that diagnosed and coming, it gives a run coordinator of the offense hell to try to design run plays because he gets blown up by the safety. And when you start thinking about the safety, it opens up for the linebackers. Because a collective effort is to stop the running game. And everybody has to be dogs and say, I'm going to be a part of stopping this running game. It got to be a mindset. And I think we got enough talent to do it. Because I done seen us do it. We talking about the first game against Saquon Barkley. Barkley got the first game, I think we shut him down to under 100 yards. Then the second game, he's a home run hitter. Barkley you could corral him, and then it looked like he had a great game because he get one 65-yard run. Then next thing you know, he get a 30-yard run, and then the rest of them is like 1, 2, and then he got that big run. But the only way you're going to stop those big runs is just what Kansas City did last year. They didn't stop it with just a defensive lineman. They had a collective effort to say, you're not going to run the ball. They feel that their offense is going to go out there and not run the ball themselves. If we're talking about we want our team to be tougher in the run game, run the ball. I hear people talking about we're going to get running the game. I'm going to talk about the Nick Chubb thing probably tomorrow. I think we are right in the running back room. All of this is about our mindset and how our coaches get the mindset over to our players. This is the culture thing we talking about. And I know y'all gonna say, well, coach, he keep talking about culture. He keep talking about how we gonna mindset. Man, it's about we got to get some players in here. We have the players. I told you this. You bring great players in here. If you do not put these mindset type things into them, if you still don't do this, if you bring the guys in here, they're gonna they're gonna underachieve. And I just think it has not been a no big defensive tackles. 2 years ago, our linebacker play was horrible. LVE, the way the guys were being coached at linebacker, it was horrible. You have great defensive linemen, and it'd be horrible. It's a cohesive group with it, and I love our linebacker core. That's why I know that's why I know our run game is not going to be, because our linebacker core, we got linebackers that they have come in here that have shown in the past that they're committed to stopping the run and aggressive. And one thing Matt Eberflus going to be, he's a linebacker coach, big time. And I think we're going to see a lot more 3-4 in this defense. That's another show that I'm going to tell you talked about, because I see it. Last year I saw it. I thought 2 years ago I thought Quinn was going to do it. I really see Matt Eberflus doing the 3-4, because I think Osa and Nealon are just prototype 3-eye, 5-eye defensive tackles, defensive linemen. And I think they're going to rotate those big guys in that middle. And I think he's going to put 4 linebackers out there. And Parsons going to be a defensive end and another stand-up defensive end. And he going to just dominate you with the linebackers. I see it. But we'll see what the philosophy is going to train, because he's got the mixture for that. But it's still, again, it's not about, I think we got enough personnel. I think it's about now getting the mentality together to stop the run. Not just saying we got to stop the run. Not just saying, well, we got to stop the run. Not saying we got to stop the run after we got run on. I want the mentality to say, I don't care what goes on. I don't care what you pass the ball. You're not going to run the ball. Because that's the foundation of every game. If I can run the ball against you, I can do just about anything else I want to. So that's what I want to see, is that mentality base. The second thing I want to say, right before what did I want y'all to understand, we talk about defense. I want three main points. And this is the last point. I gave you two, and we're gonna recap the two main points that I in this live. And the last point that I want to speak upon is explosive plays, people. Our defense got to get better in explosive plays. I think I need to bring that up, and I'm gonna bring that back up. And I'm gonna put it in one of my videos. Once I learn how to be able to put stuff on the live screen, bring up some videos up here. I'm gonna bring up my video of my 10 keys, and there's my 10 keys, and was on Boss Cowboy Sports in the live stream. Um, I brought out 10. I brought out some defensive keys and offensive keys for the Cowboys to be successful. And those keys ain't changed. Everybody will tell you, and I put up some things about gangstering on the road. All those things that I put out on Twitter, I'm gonna bring them back to my live stream. I'm putting them in it, and I'm putting them up because they ain't changed. They're not gonna change. They're part of your DNA, and if you do those things that I put up there, you're gonna be successful. Those things I learned when I was playing, those things that I preached without coaching. Those are what we call the things I'm coming up with, and I give you are what we call basis essential to winning. And it's about improving your chances to winning. The more the odds are in your favor, the better chance you got to win. And most of those things don't guarantee you to win, but they put the odds in your favor if you accomplish those goals. So explosive plays are one of them. Think about this, Cowboy fans. How many times we see Baltimore, 2 or 3 explosive plays? We gave up too many explosive plays in the last 3 to 4 years. In the Green Bay game, we lost the playoff. Green Bay quarterback had 16 completions for almost 300 yards. Aaron Jones had he had 125 yards rushing, but he had 2 plays over 30 yards. The rest of them, we held him like 2-3 yards carry. But he had 2 massive runs, and then he had rest of we maintained. Explosive plays would kill you. Let me give you a thing on explosive plays. Kansas City Chiefs. Not this past year, but the previous, no, they was in the top of this year too. But they was even exceptional the year before last. You know the Kansas City Chiefs only gave up 3 plays over 30 yards in a whole season? Do y'all know they only gave up 3 plays to the offense that was over 30 yards? We gave up 4 to 5 in our playoff game against Green Bay. If you don't give up no explosive plays, man, your defense is playing with house money. If every time a team gets the ball, they got to drive and you're not giving them anything over 30 yards, 2 things is going to happen most of the time if your defense is tough. One, the offense is going to make a mistake. They're going to get a penalty. They may have turned the ball over. They're going to have somebody going to miss a blow assignment, and it's going to set them back. And next thing they'll do, they have to punt the ball. 2 things that our defense and our offense and our team did not do, and I hope we could do it better this year. We did not. We gave up too many explosive plays on defense, and we don't get no explosive plays on offense. Do we? When a team win the battle, when somebody talking about if you go into a game, you know what the coach wants you to do? First and foremost, one of the first things they put if when you go into a game and this is what you want to win, in the coach's mind, you want to win. You want to win the penalty battle. You want to win the effort battle. You want to say my team gave more effort. You want to win the physical battle. You want to be able to control the line of scrimmage. And you want to win the explosive plays. And you want to win the turnovers. That's in football. In basketball, you want to win the effort battle. Yeah. The 50-50 balls. You want to be able to get to all those. You want to win the turnover battle. You don't want to turn the ball over more than they turn the ball over. You want to win explosive plays. Those usually come off turnovers, fast break points. That's what you want to win that. You want to win the foul battle. You don't want to give up more fouls than they give up. You don't want to foul them more time to get them at the free throw line. And you want to win the physical battle. Sports don't change. If you go to the next sport, it doesn't change. And when we went to a game, we lost the penalty battle every game, mostly. And we lost the physical because we did come. We couldn't force our will to run the ball, and sometimes people got explosive plays on us to run the ball. And we lost explosive plays in every game. In every big game, we lose explosive plays. We lose. So I want to see us get better in controlling explosive plays. Then I ain't worried about our run game. Be stout like we've been and not give up these explosive plays on the run game. So to recap my three main points, and that's where I think my show is always going to do that. When I get finished, I'm going to recap my three main points. It's a myth that about our defense, our run defense, about, oh, we need to just get bigger, this and that. The real thing wrong with our run game is a total commitment by everybody on the defense to stop the run. And a total commitment by the coaching staff and the whole team to get better at running the ball and stopping the run. That means we have to work on it. And we have to be committed to work on it live. And it has to be drilled that we are committed to stopping the run. It's about a mentality type thing. Second point, we have the personnel. If we work together, we got the personnel, we work together. This defense is better than what we think in personnel. And I'm going to point that out in my next video when I start talking about this defense in depth. We got to trust our new coaching staff that they're going to take each one of these coaching staff. I've heard them say, man, the cover ain't bad. And they'll come in here, and I guarantee you this new coaching staff will come in here and say, damn, man, this team got some talent. And I'm guaranteeing they're saying, this new coach staff saying, what the hell was the other coaching staff doing? Why is this team so sloppy? Man, they got some talent over here. Commitment to not being sloppy. And we got to trust our coaches. Now, am I saying the coaches are all world? Well, hey, the jury's out until what they do. But we got to trust our coaches that they're going to be able to coach guys up and get the best out of guys and get what we. I ain't saying that we not don't get nobody or just say we just ain't got nobody, but we're not with nobody. Film don't lie with Marzi. Film damn sure don't lie about Osa. It don't lie about Solomon Thompson. It don't lie about Neal and his ability to stop the run. It don't lie about Michael Parsons, and I know he can stop the run if he gets it because he came into college, so I know he can get that way. It don't lie about these linebackers that we brought in here about they are definitely linebackers, run stoppers, and leading for the two rookie guys we brought in last year were definitely good run stoppers. It don't lie about it. It don't lie about those guys. But we got to get it there to bring it to the level. Now I'm not discrediting. I want my Cowboy fans base out there and my other content creators. I'm not saying I'm killing y'all knows what y'all saying, because I understand that y'all passionate about making this team better. And I'm not, listen, anytime you can get talent in here, that's fine. And I'm not trying to say no pockets of the Jerry Jones there, but I understand. But I don't want this team to start running around saying if we don't get a reader, we don't get another big guy up front, them going and saying, well, we don't stop the run. Well, they didn't give us anything. I don't see that's defeated. That's the team that ain't willing to do what they're supposed to do to stop it. They always know, we ain't get that. Makes no difference, man. Get the guys ready, and I think they can get ready, but they got to have that mentality. I ain't think I know. It's all about how they prepare and get ready for it. Because I think we got enough talent to do it. I got to think we got enough talent to be dominant on defense. Because defense is a weapon. And I'll say this in close and wrapping it up. We're going to get as far, and I'm going to end every live show or every video I do with defense is a weapon. And if we're going to go as far as our defense take us. That's how it's always been in Dallas. And until we get back to that same feeling, we're going to fall short. But we get back to where it's always been in Dallas. It's been that way with Hall of Fame quarterbacks. We get that way, boy, we'll be in February playing. And we'll still be clapping about the receivers and the running backs and saying how they make plays here and there. But defense is gonna get us there. As again, thank you, Miss Charles. I don't know if you're still out there on the live stream. I don't know if some of the other people that's on the live stream that was on the live stream are they still out there. I know I got 10 people that send in chats. I didn't scroll down the chats. Let me scroll down. Miss Charles again. Angie, thank you so much uh, for joining me. I really appreciate you, darling. Um, please spread the word about Coach Marv is out here now in these things. I am still gonna be working with my man, Boss Cowboy. Maybe now when I get with these guys, um, uh, I might get with these guys now, and these guys might say, "Hey, man," um, they might say, "Hey, Coach Marv got a channel now, and he can do some things and say, hey, man, he can be with us." I know some people looking and say, "Well, man, uh, I know I got to work on that." People look at me and say, "Well, dog, Coach Marv, seems like your eyes closed, man. Man, I got big, got these little, my eyes that got so fat, so it looked like my eyes closed. But I'm looking at the screen, but my eyes be kind of, closed. And I think sometimes I'll be on my live screen with Boss Cowboy. They be like, Coach, I fell asleep. Nope, I may look like I'm asleep, but I ain't asleep. Um, but I'm just trying to work and get this thing together, man. But coaches gonna always preach about mentality. I don't think it's about what name. I think the essentials of football is what the Cowboys are missing here in this crazy mecca of publicity that we play as being a Cowboy fan and being a fan and a player of this team. Again, like I thank y'all. I see we get comment on the video. Share it with people when you get a chance out there. If you see my video, share it with other people to and put your comment up there when you share it. Say, hey, this is Coach Marv. We trying to support him so that I can get out there. Follow me on Twitter at Coach Marv at Coach Marv 1914. Um, Follow me. Give me a Facebook request at Coach Marv on my Facebook account. Um, on Instagram, I'm at Coach Marv. Instagram, if you want to reach out on me on Instagram. But please just keep encouraging me and keep on pushing. My next video is gonna come up. I think I'm gonna have some videos still talking about our culture and talk about the Pickens thing. I keep saying about Pickens, and I'm gonna say it right quick. When you hear my shorts about Pickens and all this stuff, people think I got a negative feeling about Pickens. No, I just think the guy's a talented guy, but he's got to be able to fit in the role and do his job totally. And then he does have some issues that could be a problem, but I think he can get over those. And if he does, and we can put our minds together to get to 6 and everything falls apart, he's gonna find out buying in and falling into his role is gonna make him a lot of money and gonna make him play in this league a long time and make an ultimate success. Um, so just wanted to make sure, but just like I said, Coach Marv, real talk. I'm gonna keep it real sometimes without no Novocaine. And sometimes people may think I'm being harsh, but I'm being real. And I'm gonna point out the obvious. Common sense always works. Until we see each other again, thank you again for following me and listening. Share, comment, subscribe. Let's get my numbers up, but please go out there and share this video and share with a comment to tell people how you know about Coach Marv. Salute.